Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have all the new cards here from the trailer and a few more as promo cards that we're going to be talking about in just a second. And this video is going to be more so going over each of these cards, giving you my initial thoughts and reviews over these cards and anything that comes to mind in terms of building with these cards. I already did that a little bit with my initial review of the trailer, but you know what we do here. We like to get spicy. We like to cook. So let's hop right into it with what I think is going to be the most impactful card of the set, and that's, yep, Mantyke. Who would you think I was going to click on? I think getting a water ramp baby Pokemon is going to be so great for water Pokemon. We already have Misty. Okay, so Misty and Mantyke is kind of crazy, I think, personally. Would love to get your guys' opinions. I think this is going to be strong for the inevitable Mega Gyarados we're getting in the future. It's going to help with Suicune. It's going to help with, if you want to play Milotic, it's going to help with Primarina. Oh, bro, imagine you're playing Poplio, right? Poplio or whatever it's called. And you rare candy into your Primarina the second turn. Well, you can Mantyke turn one. Okay, turn one Mantyke. Let's say you're going second. Let's paint the beautiful picture of going second. You give an energy to your Poplio and you Mantyke, right? So let's go here to Primarina EX, okay? And then the following turn, you give it another energy. So on turn two, you can just hit for 100, which is crazy. Or, like other people are suggesting, Palkia, Articuno. There are so many Pokemon that you can Mantyke just make so much stronger. I don't know if we go back entirely to a Misty water dominant meta, but I like what this does. And the fact that we're getting a water ramp makes me truly believe that we might in fact get fighting ramp. We did not get any fighting ramp here, but I think we might get fighting ramp. Like I genuinely think maybe Bonsly, however you want to pronounce it, guys in the comments are going to chew me out for pronouncing Pokemon. Like, come on, we're all fans here. That could be our first fighting ramp. All right, the next Pokemon that I think is going to add an interesting level of value, obviously the dogs or the cats or the giraffes, whatever you want to call them. We'll talk about them in a sec. I think is going to be Slowking. Okay, I really think Slowking is going to be interesting because I think what it's trying to do is do what Silvally does, but more consistently and better for less energy. I could be wrong. Again, I'm so happy to be wrong, right? I have no problem with that, but I'm just sharing my initial opinions. I think a 1 energy attack that can dish out 50 for discarding 1 tool or 100 for 2 tools is already a crazy effect. However, you throw in this traveling merchant. You think of it this way. The way I'm thinking of it is Silvally had Gladion. Slowking has traveling merchant. I think they know what they're doing. This is very interesting to me. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Put all Pokemon tools you find there into your hand. That guarantees you're going to do 100 for the next 2 turns. Pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Just wanted to talk about that before we go into the inevitable 3 legendary beasts. One thing to point out, Raikou is 130, while these guys are both 140. They are all 2 retreat cost energy. So I'm just going to say this right now. I think you either need a Leaf or a Lyra for these decks. You need to have those cards in your deck because essentially what you do is you lead with this. And then at the end of your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you can draw a card. It helps you draw. Draw engines, we've already seen with Sylveon. I always mess up their names. They are just extremely powerful. Being able to draw. The way this tries to counter that is, yes, this is a basic, but at the end of your turn, you draw, and then your opponent could just like red card or Mars you. Kind of stinks, right? You could Sky Shaman. You guys are bringing up very valuable points, but like, I don't know if you do. To just retreat for 1 energy. Maybe you do, actually. Maybe you do. Honestly, the 3 dogs are quite bad. Well, 2 things real quick. You sound like every person who said Sylveon EX was bad, including me. So clearly already incorrect. Secondly, these are cats. This is a tiger, this is a lion, and this is a leopard. It's okay. I thought they were dogs too. There was a certain point I thought they were giraffes because this guy had a big neck in its future form, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. I think the abilities draw engines are fantastic. They all have the same ability. So this effectively says you don't have to play Sylveon EX in your deck, and you could just play Raikou EX, and you will still have a draw engine. However, again, you are just susceptible to your opponent's disruption. I can't imagine a world where players don't play red cards on Mars just to be trolly. right? Just to ruin your hands, especially if they're running like a darkness type deck. And we'll talk about that in a bit, right? The disruption for darkness is crazy. And also all the abilities that say, hey, you can't interact with me, but I can interact with you in any way that I choose. That's literally how I feel like the darkness archetype is in Pokemon Pocket, but we'll talk about that in a sec. This attack, which I still can't pronounce, let me know in the comments how to pronounce it. 60 damage. This attack also does 10 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. I think it's really cool to snipe. I think this might be interesting to play with Luxray, the one that also snipes, right? You can hit the active, you can switch it out, deal, what is it? 10 damage to something on the bench. You could potentially Cyrus, or you can chip down something that is 140 down to 120, and then have your Luxray come in and finish it off. Voltase. Listen, there might be a day where we figure out how to pronounce that name. Today's not that day. Let's move on to Entei. A lot of people said this was bad. I think it's pretty good because we also don't know the other cards. Like in a vacuum of just these cards, it doesn't sound like it's that crazy, but like we're forgetting Magby, we're forgetting Moltres, we're forgetting a lot of cards that can get this guy up to 4 fire energy rather quickly. We also have Elemental Search. Was it Elemental Search? The one with the flashlight that moves the fire, water, lightning. So if we have something in the game that generates energy for itself, this can absolutely get to 4 very quickly, right? With that card as well. And if it does get to 4, it's dealing 120. Okay, but I think the winner is Suicune EX, which I can't imagine you don't play this with Pokeflute, right? To force your opponent to fill up their bench. I just can't imagine you don't do that, because for 2 energy, it's guaranteed 120 damage if every single bench Pokemon is on the board. It is Elemental Switch. Got it. So that's pretty cool with the Crystal Waltz. And again, all these dogs, cats, giraffes, they add draw engine ability to each of their archetypes. And I think that's fantastic, especially if you're looking for rare candies and all that stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. But also, with all this being said, this guy's dancing. This guy's dancing in the corner right now, doing his little pom-poms. He's like, hey cats, hey dogs. It's kind of crazy. So we'll see how that works. Maybe we'll get something that says basic Pokemon have no abilities. I don't know. Coping here would be really cool. Let's talk about the other cards, Latias and Latios. I just don't think this is crazy. 120 damage for 3 psychic energy, and you discard all your energy after you do it. I'll be honest, it doesn't feel great. It feels pretty lackluster. Like 120, you're going to knock out basics that aren't EXs. But that's pretty much it, you know? Maybe with Rocky Helmet, you can guarantee some knockouts. Maybe you lead with one with a Rocky Helmet, and then you build up the Latios on your bench. And then Latias here, if Latios is on your bench, this attack does 20 more damage. I mean, for 40, for 1 energy, it's not that bad, I guess. I mean, you could technically go 40 damage into 120 if you have all the right energy. I don't know if you play this with Gardevoir. Maybe we're getting a Mime Jr. that ramps. I have no idea. There's got to be something else that makes discarding all your energy from this Pokemon actually not feel as bad as it sounds here. Yeah, so that's kind of my problem. There might be a tool card, right? There might be something that suggests Luster Purge, more like Lackluster Purge. That's pretty good. So that's kind of where I'm sitting on this. I like these Pokemon. I like the no retreat cost here, but it's only for this Pokemon, right? So it is what it is. Milotic is interesting, healing ripples. I think this is going to be good with like Primarina. I think this is going to be good with Gyarados, Mega Gyarados. That's something I'm kind of scared of, right? You get your Mega Gyarados going. Do we have Mega Gyarados already in here that we can talk about? I think they do, right? They already, yeah, here it is. So here's the Mega Gyarados. Let's say you high roll Misty for 140. I'll make this bigger. It's been so small and you guys haven't said anything. Okay, 140. And then we take damage. We have Irida, and now we can heal with Irida and a Milotic evolution for 100, 1 turn. And we can continually mill our opponent. I think that's pretty sick. I think that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, you're right. Lunala EX could work with the Lackluster Purge. Let's see who else. I'm sorry, I had such a tiny screen earlier. I didn't really notice. Slugma. 16 trainer Macargo is still going to be a thing. Why Irida? We got Lily? Because Mega Gyarados isn't a stage 3. It's a stage 1. Okay, well, that's not working. How do you spell Gyarados, guys? I don't want to look it up again. It's a stage 1. Do I have to look it up again? All right, there we go. Stage 1 right there. So it's not a stage 3. You can't, or stage 2, I mean. I don't say stage 3. It's not a stage 2 to use with Lily. All right, who else do we have? Miltank and then Zoroark. Until this Pokemon leaves the active spot, I can't really read it here, so I'll just read this part. Until this Pokemon leaves the active spot, this Pokemon's Rolling Frenzy attack does 30 plus damage. This effect stacks. This line right here is terrifying. We might be getting a Whitney support. We have no idea. So it deals 10, and then it goes into 40, and then it goes into 70. I can't do math. It's crazy. And then it goes into 100. But the thing that scares me the most about this is it's a colorless Pokemon that requires 1 energy, which means your Darkrai can sit on the bench, and you could just feed it. So this actually does 40 the following turn, but it's 60 because of Darkrai Tick. It's 70, but it's actually 90 because of Darkrai Tick. It's 100, but it's actually 120 because of Darkrai Tick. Yeah, your opponents are going to Sabrina you for sure, but like until this Pokemon leaves the active spot, you're right, it is scary, but like if they do, they do, right? It's not a big deal. Maybe you just don't play anything until you get up there. Maybe that's the play. Maybe you wait until that 70 turning into a 90 is actually very helpful for you. And then finally, let's talk about this guy. I said this a little bit earlier about the darkness being an archetype that I just don't understand the direction they're going in. It's like, I can interact with your cards like Darkrai EX on the bench. I can hit your active Pokemon, but you can't touch me. You can't interact with me. You can't stop my ability. Nothing. I'll do what I want. You can't do anything. So they're really doubling down on the darkness meta right there. Ability, illusion, trickery. If your opponent's active, let me restart over. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this Pokemon's attacks during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. Sir, what? Who thought this was a good idea? They're trying to hurt Giratina. I don't know if this hurts Giratina, man. Yeah, this one with Sabrina is crazy because all you have to do is Sabrina into a basic that's less than 70. You knock them out, you get a free point, and they can't do anything to you, man. Actually crazy. It's such a strong card. It reads very strong. This is a promo card I think we're all going to be partaking in and trying to get. I'm assuming it's an existing card in the set because this is a full art, right? So they're just changing the art style for this. So I think we could just get it within the packs. But there you guys have it. That is all the new cards and what I think about the new cards. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.